What's up, party people? This is the second time I'm going to live today, but for a very good reason. Because I have an incredible guest joining me today that I have collaborated with for some IT projects that we've been working on. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and bring on Kevin. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I am so excited that we could make something happen.
Definitely, I'm excited for this. It should be fun.
Yeah, for sure. So, for my audience who may not be as familiar with you, could you go ahead and share your story of like your professional background and how you got to where you're at now?
Sure, definitely. A little bit about me. My name is Kevin. I am from New York. Uh, I love New York. We love our peaks over here. And I actually started with a restaurant background. So I come from a restaurant background. So I've been in a restaurant for about roughly 12 years, about roughly 12 years. And then after that, I wanted to learn about computers, so I went and I studied the CompTIA A plus. So that's like the standard certification for someone that's brand new that they usually make you take if you want to learn about IT support or help desk or service desk. Those are usually the cert that you will get is the CompTIA A plus. So I took that cert. Then I went to a school that does that certification training for that actually, and then they helped me get my first job. So I actually got my first job for the Department of Education. I did that for like a year or so, and then I went into working for Apple, then an MSP company. Then I worked for a hedge fund, and now today I'm a sysadmin, and I am a technical trainer for Australia. I also do training on Discord with different people in IT. I also run an internship myself where I train students for free and I give them real world hands on training. And I also do mock interviews. I go over your resume, a little bit of everything, just a little bit of everything. That's pretty much it about me. It's like so much. It's like I do a lot of different things. I'm all over the place. That's just what
Your
it is.
hands are in so many different pots, which is awesome because um like I just have this motto, good people know good people. And I very much so believe in giving and genuinely want other people to succeed. And so we immediately clicked with that when I met. And so I was watching your YouTube channel. So for those of you who don't already follow Kevin on YouTube, definitely go check it out. The link is in the comments. He's got 24,000 plus followers. And one of your YouTube videos shares on how you were in hospitality and got your A plus certification and the power of um, not getting jobs and how stressful it is and how it takes more than just a degree or a certification. And one of the things I saw in your video is that you set up a home lab to get this hands-on experience that employers were saying that they wanted it, to target it every single resume so that way you could be like, yep, I've done it and I can show you how. So tell me a little bit, what inspired you to, you know, stand out to that extent?
Oh, definitely. So when I first started IT, I was looking online and a lot of people give me like there was the thing is with the IT community, I'm not trying to bash anyone in IT, but the thing is like when you go to IT, there's like no footprint. So you get a bunch of information from different people and then they give you different information and then it's like it doesn't work. So that's what happened to me. So I got hit really hard with rejection emails, with I'm sorry, we're gonna look at another candidate, or I'm sorry, we're gonna. And then I started to realize that one of it is the resume, which is what you focus on. That's
Yep.
really important. The resume is very important. It tells a story about you. The other thing is you need some sort of job experience that you need to prove to someone else, the hiring manager, that you actually know what you're talking about and you actually know how to do it. So I started looking at a lot of videos online, and one of my inspirations that people may not know, he's been around on YouTube for a while, is Eli, the computer guy. He has like a million subscribers, and I looked at a couple of his videos, and then I just started brainstorming and putting a couple of my ideas on making labs. Then after learning the labs and building my hands-on training, and I actually understand how to do it, I actually added it on my resume, and then I started applying for jobs, and I was oh, he actually has real world experience about Active Directory. Oh, he knows about Office 365. Oh, he knows about changing passwords, account creation. Let's give him a chance. So
And
that's how it is. That's basically what I did.
it makes so much of a difference to actually say, yep, I've done it. So let's give some love to some of the people that are in the comments. Some people aren't showing up. So to the LinkedIn users who don't have your profile public when you're on other people's profiles, what's up? Leroy, he says, you're doing another interview? Yes, because Kevin's not available at 8 a.m. and he's the shit. And so after a long day of work and juggling all the other hats he has, he's coming on here to help inspire people to be able to use their transferable skills to gain employment that satisfies them. So what's up? Thank you for rejoining. So one of the things that we've kind of both hit home on is how important soft skills are in the IT industry, and how you can come from other backgrounds and successfully leverage that and far exceed potentially other people who lack that confidence on how to handle situations with other people. Mm-hmm. So you go first. What's your story in hospitality?
So I've been in a restaurant for a really long time. I worked at a pizzeria. I worked in a lot of different places. I worked in a Mexican grill restaurant, and my story is a very crazy story because I actually worked as a cashier, and I worked as a line cook, and then I worked as a grill guy, and then I got promoted as a supervisor, and I was the youngest supervisor in the restaurant business for that particular company. And one of the things I learned just being in restaurant was just you need to have customer service, and customer service is very important. And we noticed as a manager, or even me, because I worked in management in restaurant, I noticed that every time you greet a customer or you say hi, a customer walks in the door, you immediately greet them and like, oh, this person's awesome. This person's greeting me as I walk in the door. And I noticed that like versus someone that walks in the restaurant and you don't greet them at all. So like I always make the argument that do you want to pay more money for good customer service, or do you want to pay less for bad customer service? So I'd rather pay $2 extra more if the person knows my name, knows what I want when I order something, and knows me personally and gives me that personal touch. So that's why I learned that with customer service, and I brought that over with me to IT. So now when I do that when I work with people in IT, I memorize their names. I'm polite with them. I'm super nice for everyone. I make myself available. I make myself approachable. I try not to make the client feel dumb or silly, because sometimes in IT, when you work in IT, you have issues where people make the customer feel like they're dumb or they don't know what they're doing.
That has happened to me.
Yes. Yeah. So we try not to do that. Like whether you did a mistake or not, we never blame the customer. That's like one thing I teach. My model is that even if I don't like saying user, like end user, like I like saying client, even if the client is having, like, they don't know what they're doing, just educate them, right? Don't tell them that, oh, you did that wrong. That's not how you talk to someone. It's just like really, it makes them feel bad. You don't want to make someone feel bad. So the only way to make them feel better is by actually just being like, oh, okay, that happened to me one time. I'm sorry that's happening to you. Let me fix that for you. Just knowing how to interact. And I actually come from an executive background with executives in the hedge fund environment too. So I actually learned that too. And you learn it the hard way too. You learn the hard way when you talk to certain people like, I'm sorry, Kevin, I'm not tech savvy. Can you explain that to me again? And you just got to know how to interact with different people in a different environment. There's like so many different personalities. So you just have to know how to engage with each person, get a feel for them. And also the other thing is that keep their time management in mind with them too, because you're dealing with executives. They're super busy. They're always in a lot of meetings. So it's just one of those things like, I want to change your computer, or I want to look at your computer when you're going to a meeting. Can I do that for you real quick? Is that okay with you? You want to take control of the time as well, because they're important. They have their own schedules. You want to take care of their schedule too versus your schedule. So those are all the things I talk about and things I teach, if that makes sense. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It totally makes sense. I like one of my first like real jobs in high school, I worked at Jimmy John's, and it's like, sorry, that's my dog, like that freaky fast. That's the same thing in IT. People want IT people to get the things done quickly and the first time around, ideally, so that way they can get back to work and be productive and make the company money again. And in college and even after college, you know, I started working for the Department of Labor while I was in college, and it's stressful. Like, it was literally the difference between someone's life, whether someone was going to be homeless or whether someone was going to get into this vocational program that I was in. And so I still stayed a Bacardi girl even while working for the Department of Labor. And it was fun, you know, and the same thing with you working with executives. It was the same thing. It was luxury clients. It was NFL team parties. It was, you know, executive private events. It was, you know, a group of us having to fly out on a jet to go to Vegas to do promos and things. And it was so much fun, but you learn a lot. And something that resonated with me is everybody needs a different style of communication. And when you work in hospitality, you quickly pick up, is this somebody who wants to be in and out? You know, like clearly they're in a rush. Or is this somebody who, you know, wants a deeper experience, a more educational approach where, okay, this is how you do it and da 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 da, you know, taking a little bit more time with them? Or is this somebody who, you know, needs their ego to be stroked a little bit and like, don't worry about it, dude. Like, this happens all the time to everybody. Like, you know, don't let it ruin your day. It's okay. So it's definitely something. And these experiences coming from hospitality, it transfers over to more than IT, but IT is such a booming industry. And so many people are able to go into it, have a successful career, and then climb the ranks because there's so many different avenues you can go in IT. So what is like, oh, you got some other people in here. So Gabe, he says, hey, Kevin.
Hi, Gabe. I see you.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, everybody joining in the comments. Okay, so one thing I get a lot from like entry-level IT people or people who are switching over to IT, they're like, I'm scared to take the interview test. So share with me, what are some of the things that you know or had to get through to land these first jobs? Like, were you quizzed on your skills, or where does that come in as you climb the ranks in IT?
So and this is gonna be this is how I teach. So the first thing I teach someone that's brand new, even before the interview process, is embrace rejection. That's like really important for me. Like, that's just like the number one thing I teach. And I actually made a post on LinkedIn, right? It's a post that says, I got rejected, I got rejected, I got rejected, I did an interview, I got rejected, I finally got a job. So that's the post.
And it was viral.
It went viral. So that post went viral, and it's because everyone can relate to that post, because when you're brand new to IT, it's you're gonna, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but you're gonna get kicked a lot, and a lot like real life hits you in the face, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's just like this is the reality of IT. The reality of life hits you in the face. You have no job experience, so you have hiring managers like, why should I hire you? You don't know anything. Like, why should I hire you? It doesn't make any sense. So that's the one thing I teach. That's like the first thing I teach. After you get past that, then it becomes easier for you. So then when you go and apply for jobs, the first few jobs, you get nervous, right?
Yeah.
After a while, and you get all these rejection emails, and you're like, oh, okay, whatever, that's not for me. And you just start brushing it off. Like, all the the rejection emails come out, and they're like, oh, this is nothing for me. Whatever, I'll keep applying. Maybe this is not meant for me. Keep applying. That company's not meant for me. That one's not meant for me. So you have to embrace rejection in order for you to win. That's the only way you're going to win in IT. And that's how it was for me. So I started my jobs. I was applying for all these different jobs. Nobody wanted to hire me. I embraced rejection, and I learned from each interview that I did. So like and I always got feedback from each interview I did. So the first thing I did was like, if I didn't get the job, I want to know what I did wrong. I want to know what did I did wrong and how I could get better. So those are the questions I asked the hiring manager. Okay, Kev, you were good with your soft skills, but when I asked you that question about Active Directory, I didn't like that answer. So I want you to focus on that. So then you start writing notes. Every interview you go into, you start writing notes. You get feedback from the hiring manager, and then you get better over time. That's like the one thing. Number two is you do your research about the company. That's number two. Number three is it's all
For
about.
those of you who have kids and have been working from home,
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, so take notes, research the company.
Research the company. Number three is that you have to you have to like be able to just get feedback. Just get feedback from the manager. Take notes. The other thing is that's very important is make sure you ask the right questions, because when you go in a job interview, it's like dating. So you have to make sure that you fit well with them and they fit well with you. So if you don't ask the right questions, you don't know if you fit well with them. That's the other thing. Number four would be have your mom, your dad, your grandma, whoever it is, have them interview you so you could practice beforehand before you go to the actual interview. So you want to do it. You want to do mock interviews with other people that are family members or people that work in IT. That's number four. Number five for me. Number five, and for me, this is like new advice. This is not what advice I would give to myself a long time. Like, this is not advice I would have done a long time ago.
Okay.
Number five would be the networking piece.
Yes.
So networking is very important. A lot of people use A lot of people don't use LinkedIn properly. You have to know how to use LinkedIn properly. Use the power of LinkedIn to network with HR and get past the ATS system. So if you know how to do that, then you're going to get the job. I've seen people do that in IT, like people that are brand new. They would just go straight to the hiring manager and email them their resume and email them their CompTIA A+, and they immediately get the job. Like, oh, this guy has the A+, and this guy's looking like this guy. This is the first person that actually emailed me for the job, and they didn't put his resume in the ATS system. That's the other thing I talk about. It's trying to get past HR and all this other stuff.
So. Wow, I'm like mind blown right now. One, because my son actually listened and went back in the room. And two, because you just gave 5 amazing tips that are so fundamental, but aren't typically talked about. So taking notes, let's break this down a little bit. When you are, when you're interviewing, you want to take notes. And like Kevin said, if you can get feedback on that interview, that's incredible. A lot of companies have policies where they can't give feedback, but immediately after the interview, even if they don't give any type of feedback, you can take notes on questions they ask so you can fine tune those answers for potential next interviews. You can, reach out and of course ask for feedback if they're open to giving it. The researching the company is huge because you can literally take the job description and figure out pretty much what they're looking for in the job to tailor your answers to. So like the first interview is typically with HR, the recruiter, right? Or TA, somebody in HR. And so then when you move on to the second round of interviews, typically with the hiring manager, when you take that job description and the company research that you did and put it all together, you can fine tune your answers that much more to have targeted answers, so you're more likely to win the interview. And Kevin was so right when he said it's like dating. You don't want to be back on your job search again. So you want to make sure the job that you're applying to first, before you even apply to it, is a company that you would probably want to work at based on your research. And then 2, while you're in the interview process, are there any red flags going off? What is their communication like? How are they treating you? What is that candidate experience? Because if an organization has a poor candidate experience, typically they have a poor culture in general. And so those are some things that you want to think about, because sometimes it's okay to say no to a job to make sure you get in at the right company so you're not back on your job search right away again. And I cannot, like, the interview prep, it's crucial. Like, nobody just wakes up and is good. And people who say, oh no, I'm great at interviewing, typically are the worst at it, because they come in so cocky and then they throw like buzzword bingo around and then never get to the meat and potatoes of like how they actually solve problems, how they effectively collaborate, how they influence. And in all of this interview prep can be tied in with the networking piece. Sometimes who makes a difference on where you're going to land at. And so, like, I just had a client, I'm so proud of her. She landed at Salesforce and she did 2 informational interviews before she even applied. Then a position became available, applied, immediately applied to the job, and then those two references had already put them into the system as a referral. And then when she got passed along to the hiring manager interview, they reached out to the hiring manager and gave her like a glowing recommendation. So the hiring manager was really impressed about that. And then like the next, like at Salesforce, they have like a project that you have to do, like a presentation. And the people that were on the presentation panel looked at her profile, she saw it, and messaged them back like, hey, I saw that you viewed my profile and you're at Salesforce. I'm actually interviewing now. Like, I would love to connect. And, you know, do you have any tips or any insight into the organization, you know, that you think I should know before just determining if I want to work for the organization? And then they're like, yeah, actually, we're interviewing you next. And so we were creeping on your profile. And so that all kind of plays, because then she ended up having conversations before the interview panel. So like, as soon as the interview panel was done, the recruiter was like, yeah, you've got the job. And so like, it happens just that easily. And you said like, people don't effectively use LinkedIn. Like, just messaging people who are looking at your profile, that's probably because they're going to be interviewing you or you're being considered for a position. Like, reach out to them and see what they have to say. You know, you mentioned bypassing like the ATS and stuff. I mean, all that is a filing system, but with the sheer amount of applicants, you know, thousands of people are applying to these entry-level IT jobs. Like, how do you stand out then? Sometimes it is referral. Sometimes it is like these projects that you did at your house. And so many amazing tips. And for those of you who are watching who want even more tips that are IT specific, definitely check out Kevin's YouTube channel, because he's got fantastic videos on there, breaking some things down. So Kevin, for somebody who's thinking like, okay, yep, Kevin's dope, IT industry amazing. I've heard from other people he noted, but then explained like how to go about avoiding those issues or having the resiliency to move past those issues. So what are first steps if you want to transition into a career in IT? Is it a certification? Is it like through a boot camp? Is it going back to school? Like, where do you even begin?
So that gets very tricky, because I've been in IT for a while. So I've been in IT for over 6 years.
Yep.
But then I have a YouTube channel. I have 24,000 subscribers, as you know. And then I also have a Discord community, like it's like similar to WhatsApp, with a group of 3,000 people. And the thing is that when someone asks me, do I need this or that or this, it depends where you live. It depends where you live. That's one thing. The other thing is that there's more than one way to get into IT. We all end up in the same place, no matter what way you get into IT. That's my answer to that. So some people.
So like all the job search advice, it depends.
yeah, because the thing is that I seen people get jobs with just having the A+.
Yeah.
CompTIA A+. I seen someone get a job with having absolutely nothing IT related, just working in restaurant. I seen someone get a job just having a college degree. So it varies on the resume, and it varies on the person, and it also varies on the location too. The reason why I say location is because my location might be hiring for IT support jobs in New York, but then where you live, then they may not be hiring for that. They may be hiring for like network admin or sysadmin or cloud or something else. And every location is different. Even the pay is different if you go in different locations. So that's the one thing. Like, it's kind of hard for me to answer that question, but typically for someone brand new, I tell them to do a home lab. Make sure you have a good resume. Make sure you have a good LinkedIn profile. Exactly. Make sure you're getting certifications, because some companies don't ask for it. Some do ask for it. And the reason why they ask for it is because it's ATS, it's HR, it's the hiring manager. They require it. So the first thing that happens is when you have a resume that has no certification, it goes to the pile that we don't want you. Yeah. So that's basically why I tell people get the certification. If you want to do IT support, because what I train is IT support help desk. You're gonna get CompTIA A+. Then after that, you work on your home labs. Then after that, you fix the resume. It's always gonna be the resume. If your resume is horrible, no one's gonna call you. That's just how it is. That's the reality of IT. That's the reality of jobs. If your resume doesn't grab the attention of the reader, that's how it is. They're not gonna do anything. They're gonna throw it in the trash bin. That's just how it is. So that I'm just being realistic. This is how it is. As a resume,
Let's keep it real.
the home labs, fixing your LinkedIn profile, connecting with people around your area, connect with people that already have the job that you want. Everything. There's a lot of things you could do. To connect, do volunteer work in schools. You could freelance as well. If you have no job experience, like I tell people, you have no job experience, you create your own experience.
For
How
sure.
do you do that? You build your own home labs, you freelance, you volunteer, you go to a school around your area. Oh, okay. Do you guys need any IT people? I could fix your computer for the school. I could do this and that. So there's like so many different things you could do, and it's just a matter of doing it and not just saying it. So that's how it is.
That's fantastic advice. I work with a couple of different boot camp programs, and one thing that is so weird is they're not necessarily cheap. And so to see somebody start off in it so they can get the hands-on experience in addition to getting mentorship while they're working towards their certifications and gaining the connections to that the program has, how many fall off before the end of it. Now, if you dip your toes in the pool and decide, okay, this isn't for me, that's one thing. But some people just are, leave the programs before they're finished, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, this is what it's going to take every single day. And I don't think people realize how much work it takes to get a job, how much work it takes to break into a new industry. But once you do, it's so worth it, because you can build that lifestyle that you want and be leveraging the skills that bring you joy, bring you satisfaction. And if you're not happy at work, then you're not happy for like a quarter of your life. So it just, my feedback would be like, hey, if you're really serious about it, do the work, stick with it through the pain, like through the difficult times. So that way, by the time you get to the end of it and you land that job, you're only going to go up from there, because the tech industry, it's in such high demand. It's not going anyplace. It's only growing. And so definitely some opportunities there. So Kevin, what tidbit would you like to end this awesome session on?
For me, like I said, for someone brand new to IT, I want you to embrace rejection, and just that's one thing. Number two is get out of your comfort zone. The only way you learn is by getting out of your comfort zone. That's everything. That's life. That's IT. That's getting a new certification or studying a certification. That's reaching out to someone that works in IT. That's reaching out to someone in HR or hiring manager. The only way you learn is by embracing rejection and by getting out of your comfort zone. Those are the two things I tell people all the time. If you can't do that, then it's just, you got to put in the work too. That's the other thing. The other thing is put in the work, and you can't make excuses. The only one that's making the excuses is yourself. You got to do it. Nothing comes to you unless you have to work for it. So that's just how it is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, to the random LinkedIn users, Leroy, Cassell, maybe how I pronounce your name, Gabe, Kevin, Leroy, all of you guys, thank you so much for joining us in the comments. For everybody who isn't in the chat, definitely appreciate you being here today. Go ahead, follow Kevin on LinkedIn. For sure, check out his YouTube channel. If you're thinking about making a transition into IT, feel free to reach out to either me or Kevin. We can point you into the direction for some incredible resources. Rebecca, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you found the information helpful. And for all of you watching, have a good night.
Take care.